Roll call, please.
Mr. Kremke?
Here.
Mr. Mallinger?
Here.
Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Mr. Hauser?
Stand up and
Here.
Mr. Wagner?
Okay, we have our quorum. Okay. Next item on our agenda is called audience participation. That's for anyone in the audience to approach the board for anything that is not already on the
you don't, I
agenda.
understand.
Yo,
Excuse me.
Minutes.
minutes.
Oh, you know what? My check mark's got ahead of me. All right, consideration of minutes. Well, let's finish the audience participation, then we can go back. Seeing none, we'll move on. Consideration of minutes. Are there any changes or amendments to the minutes from last month? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We have no old business or tabled matters. We don't have any preliminary hearings. We do have a public hearing for Donovan Hillbridge at 75 East Jelm Road, requesting a use variance for duplex in an existing structure. Mr. Hillbridge, would you just like to come up and just briefly explain your petition?
Yeah, my name is Donovan Hilbrick. I purchased property at 75 Jelm. I'm just trying to go through the proper channels to be able to use the house as a duplex lawfully. It's fully set up as such with separate utilities and entrances and driveways and meets all code to be a duplex, but just is not zoned as such. So that's what I'm here to do.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think at this time, it is 5:32, we'll open the public hearing. Is everything, actually should ask, is everything in order?
This is order.
Okay, good. All right. Is there anyone in the audience? Well, wait. Okay, we're gonna have order, okay? Is there anyone in the audience who is here to speak in favor of this petition? Is there anyone to speak in favor? Sure. Could you approach the podium and then,
Sure. I'm Robert Hilbert from Donovan's Dad.
Okay.
I'd like to see him be able to do this because it's going to be a massive economic or financial burden for him to have it switched over. He's already got all the utilities that were there. They're all already separated. All of the gas lines, everything's all separated. And when we, well, I say we, but I was kind of involved when he purchased the property, and when he called up and talked to the building commissioner and was told that we just have to all we have to do is notify the post office that that's what we were going to do, and if they were okay with it, we put up a second mailbox. And because it was already set up for 2 units, it's just it wasn't 2 families that were living there, that was really all we had to do. And that was the kicker when he bought the house. And so then we decided to buy the house. I say we, but I was just with him. He did it. But yeah, I think if he would have known that he wouldn't have been able to use that as 2 units, then it probably wouldn't have worked out that way. We probably wouldn't have purchased the property in the first place. But I don't. It's always been 2 units. Both those driveways have always been used, and he's put a lot of work into the place, fixing it up, and the work is going to continue. He wants to focus on the outside of the house once there's some tenants in there, and I think that it's gonna be good.
thank you. Could you just state your address for the record, too?
My address is 694 Old Suman Road in Valparaiso.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else to speak in favor?
I'm not so much speaking in favor or against. I have a couple of questions about this. What year was the building made into a duplex? Jennifer Klug, 200 Franklin Street, Town of Porter. Thank you. Do you know what year this building was made into a duplex?
We'll take your questions and then we'll just answer them.
Okay, that's my question. Also, because the Town of Porter, and I gave Michael Berry one time a newspaper article about it, They had a BZA, they were putting members on the BZA, but they did not have meetings for 9 years. And this was in the newspaper that the town council president, Gene Bodnar, said that. And I looked through the newspaper for a following year, and there was no record in the newspaper of a BZA, and there were no records of BZA meetings. So they were not having BZA meetings, and people were apparently giving permission, this is what I'm asking about, permission to do something without it going through the BZA. A couple of years ago, there was an issue with a house on Woody Dunes. The people made it into a duplex for a family member. And this was in I talked to Mike about it because I was looking through the newspaper to see if there was anything in the newspaper. The town didn't have any kind of record of it. But in 1989 or 1987, somewhere along that line, the people said they were given permission to make that into a duplex. Fast forward it to a number of, they did that, and then fast forward it to a number of years where in the, between 2000 and 2010, the man had died, his wife was in a nursing home with Alzheimer's, and the adult children were trying to sell the property. But there was no record in county and no record in the town of the property getting permission to have a duplex. And I know there were other issues. There was an issue down the street, and Mike doesn't think the guy had permission, but I really think the guy had permission to put up a garage, but it was in a part of the neighbor's property, so he had to tear it down because he said they had this thing with, that somehow he had gotten put in on somebody else's property. But what I'm saying is, if the town has had, and the people from Woody Dunes got permission after the fact to have the house as a duplex to sell the house, because it was obvious that you couldn't prove that they didn't get permission. So what I'm saying is, I think that it needs to be brought out as to when this was made into a duplex, and I know people neighbors probably don't want it as a duplex, but was the person who owned the house given permission by the town to turn it into a duplex? And if that's the case, is it fair to say that you can't have it as a duplex when the town has done things to where they've given people permission but not gone through the proper channels? And I really think that this is something to look at, because if this people, you know, the town used to do some things that were not necessarily right, and Jim knows that. Jim's been there, done that with his own property, with your street that was not a street. And the whole thing is that I think that needs to be looked at, because it goes back far enough to where, you know, I don't think people should be punished when the town says you can do something and they weren't doing things the town wasn't doing things properly, or documenting things, or sending things to county to where county didn't have, you know, issues with it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? I do know there's some people here that I believe are going to speak in opposition, but let's have some order, please, when we do this, okay? Is there anyone here to speak in opposition? Okay. All right, one at a time. If you could approach the podium, give us your name and address. I know you wrote a letter. I can either read the letter, or you can come up to the podium and speak.
Read the letter, but I'd like to ask, kind of give you a little bit of information. We worked county for a while. My name is Judith Chema.
Yep.
I'm at 1655 Fleming Street, Porter. We worked county at one point, and so therefore, this home, we've known the people that own this home prior to. We're not opposed to the aspect of this young man doing an investment. We are opposed to the aspect of having a duplex, because we have had situations that they have tried to do this in the past. We have some homes in that area that have kitchens downstairs in their homes that can get another. We're going to set a precedent. Even though it's a variance, you're going to have people coming in here and saying, oh, well, we got this one in here. What about this one? There's several homes on the other side of Waverly, on the west side, that I believe have an upstairs and a downstairs. So this is what we're concerned about. We've been there for some 40 years. It's a residential one. I understand that this gentleman put money into this, but we also know that people have to do their homework to make sure that they are complying to the rules that are there. Residential 1, we've got a mess there already with some of those homes that were put in off of Waverly, that, we were supposed to have 16 homes there. The area is changing. That corner, from what I understand, 3 homes are going to be going in there. It's a residential 1. I want to keep it that way. If the gentleman wants to sell it as, daughter and son with their mother, that's fine. And I have one question that maybe you could answer too. Do they have 2 garbage picks up and sewers there, the bills?
We'll answer that after.
That's what I was going to say, if you'd answer that too. But we are against it, and there are a few other neighbors that are not here that we have talked to that are not happy about this. So we would like for you to, unfortunately, for this gentleman, I have a young son, so I understand, but still, I don't want our area to go and start having all kinds of goof-up areas there, that we have this house that has a duplex. Not only that, you have extra cars that are there too, if you got more than one family in there.
So does that pretty much sum up your letter?
Yeah, that pretty much sums
Okay.
it up, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank
thanks.
you.
Okay, is there anyone else to speak in opposition? Again, give us your name and address, please.
Lisa Cup, address is 1500 Fleming. I agree with the Chemas. I myself did not want it rezoned to a R3 simply because I'm worried about the property for sale next to it. Who's to say somebody's not going to buy that thinking that this one was rezoned, that they can get that one rezoned, and here's another duplex. And there are some other, like Judy said, if it wants to be resold or, something, or even, rent it as a family home with a mother-in-law's home, I don't mind, but I just am not, I'm just leery about the rezoning and there being a duplex there with renters is my issue. And the neighbors next to me and across the street agree as well.
Thank you.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else to speak in opposition? Sure.
Patrick Coleman. I'm the gentleman that purchased the 15 Jelm Road. I have the 2 lots on each side of it and a house there. I have an issue with, I believe the house was sold as related living. That's not a duplex. So looking at it that way, I don't see where it falls into the zoning we have there. Also for me, I'm going to build 2 more single-family homes. They're going to be single-family. They're not duplexes. Again, that would hurt my property values trying to do it. It's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and just, for clarity, this is not a rezoning. This is called a use variance, okay? Well, no, that's all right, but there's a difference, so we just wanted to make sure it's clear, okay? Okay. Anyone else to speak in opposition? All right, seeing none, we will close the public hearing and open for discussion. Let's, I guess let's start with Mr. Mandan.
The first one is the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, with, very vague and sort of meaningless. Number 2 is the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. So each one of these have to be satisfied. Number 3 is the need for the variance arises from some satisfied. The surrounding properties are single-family structures. It can be argued that the value of these single-family homes could be adversely affected by permitting an adjacent duplex structure. Assuming the town did not approve this modification to a duplex, any hardship from not using it for that purpose is self-imposed. The comprehensive plan does not anticipate multifamily uses at this location. Therefore, I recommend denial of the request.
Okay. Now, there were some questions. I know Ms. Klug had questions about the year that this was made into a two-family structure. And I, do you
We
have,
don't have any records
Yeah.
to show one way or the other, so I don't know when it was
right,
converted. Don't know if it was approved or permitted, there's no permits for it, there's nothing in the file,
right.
one way or the other, so it's just silent on it, doesn't say when it was done. But they did go through and change the utilities, and it's got 2 furnaces and 2 electric panels, and it's fully separated utilities.
Okay.
The only thing that connected the 2 together was one room. And that would require a firewall to separate the 2 units to be legal. So there's 2 entrances, like he said, everything's split, but it was not a duplex, it was related living. It was advertised as related living, had parents on one side and the son on the other. So to make it a duplex is simply putting in a firewall and separating it, getting another address. To convert it back, you can leave it the way it is, but you have 2 sets of NIPSCO bills and paying a lot of utility bills for that. So it actually costs more to convert it back to single NIPSCO services on that. We don't have anything on file on it. The one Jennifer mentioned on Woody Dunes was the same thing, it was related living, it wasn't a duplex. They came,
Okay,
that was several years ago, but it was a garage with a related living apartment in it, and again, we had nothing in the files on it. When the family sold it, they did, the people who bought it got a use variance to have that as a separate unit that they rent.
okay.
So it's slightly different, but sort of the same
Mhm.
in that respect.
Mike is,
And when I talked to Mr. Hilbrick about it back when he bought the property, I said, you know, all you have to do to get it as a legal duplex is this: you get a use variance, then put a firewall in, and then split it, put 2 addresses on it. So that's basically why he's here. He's trying to comply with the
Right,
proper rules to do it.
okay.
So, sorry, go ahead, Henry.
No,
so just for clarification, the utilities have been split for,
I don't know how long. They look like looks like it's been for quite a while. I mean, if you look at them, they're pretty aged, but somebody's put 2 furnaces in, all the ductwork separate, 2 separate panels, everything's separated. That's the way it exists right now.
so there would be meters on the property? Are there
There's 2
like,
sets of meters.
are there readings on the meters or anything that you could?
I was just gonna make sure if he answers, to make sure he comes to the.
Yeah, you do
Okay.
come to the podium to answer, please.
I didn't come prepared with pictures of, like the readings on the meters that I'm paying.
That's his question.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do have receipts for 2 separate bills that I'm paying. Somebody had mentioned knowing the previous owners. I clearly know them, talking to them. They had said that at one point in time it was 2 separate structures that were combined. It's tough to imagine that somebody got away with combining 2 homes and having a NIPSCO service come out and have this all done without anybody being aware of something like this happening. I clearly, purchased it as is, and I'm just trying to go through the lawful channels to be able to do this so that nothing is happening under anybody's nose, not trying to get away with anything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
How was it sold to you? As a resident or a duplex or?
It was sold, they had to
Virtual?
list it as relative living because it's not zoned as a duplex,
Okay.
which is why I was advised use variance for the structure specifically, because it does meet the requirement of, it would be, I need to separate them. I bought it as it is. Of the 5, I had turned in paperwork. I assume you all have it, but I have answers for all 5 of those that I think justify approving the variance today. But yeah, I could prove that I'm paying 2 separate NIPSCO bills and have been for the past several months.
Do you have anything else to say in response to
I think it would be
comments?
I think it would be a hard sell to prove that my property would adversely affect someone else's property value in the neighborhood, and the comment about extra vehicles. There are 2 separate driveways. This house has been used as a duplex by one family. I mean, I get it, it's not 2 separate families, it's not 2 separate addresses, although I was informed that at one point it was 75 and 75 and a half. But this house has been used as a duplex for 20 to 30 years. The gentleman I purchased this from grew up there. He was in the rear unit, his parents in the front. It's just hard to,
Right. Please, we're gonna keep order.
it's just hard to imagine that having it what's the right way? Having it notarized and having it, properly approved would be different than the way it's been used in the last 20 or 30 years. So that's what I've got for now. Thank you.
So I guess one question is if it was represented to you as being a single-family residence, I guess it would be kind of a risky step
Sure.
to assume that you could just convert it to a duplex. So purchase it and then after you've purchased it, I don't know.
I hear what you're
That's-
saying.
That's kind of, something that, the details that you as a owner should, or the person purchasing it.
Yeah, I understand.
make
It's
sure up
hard to
front.
feel bad for somebody who's shot themselves in the foot. I believed I was going through the proper channels. I reached out to the building commissioner before I even purchased the property and was informed that it would be likely that I would be able to do this, if not assured. Obviously, that's, not something to, hold a whole lot of weight. But that's why I'm here, to try to make this lawful and do this. So.
Would it be easier if you got a zoning changed and went to the plan commission?
No.
No?
I think it'd be harder.
Yeah, I was told that was harder because you have to get everybody
There's more
involved rather than
Yeah.
specific use case here.
Yep. Maybe any other questions from the board? Input?
I just want to clarify something.
Yeah.
I never tell anybody that
Oh.
it's a slant. I've never said that to anybody, so.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I don't mean to put words in your mouth. You've been.
No, I know, but I said you need to properly go through channels, which is what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate that you're doing that, but I never said that.
Sure.
Just going backwards, we don't have robust files from when the building here changed. There's files lost, we have holes in our files. So there's no way we can say one way or the other, how it got to the point the building is now. Unless somebody wants to chase NIPSCO and see when the bills started doubling, that's not something we have access to, so there's no way to say how that got changed over, whether it was legal or lawful or not, I don't know. But, like I said, he's trying to go through the proper channels, that's all we're doing.
I would also point out that your options tonight are to approve this, to disapprove it, or you could continue it if you feel like you need more information or time to give diligence to any of this. So, and I'm not advocating for that, but I just want to make sure you're
That's an
clear on what
option.
your options are.
Okay.
I just want to clarify some things that I've heard, because I heard it recognized that no one was remonstrating against, I think the term that we heard here repeatedly was related living. But related living and duplex as a distinction with an actual difference, right? Secondly,
One has.
I'll ask 3 questions in a series because they're related. It'll probably be easier for to answer then. And we have code around duplexes. We don't currently around anything with related living. I want to reaffirm that. And the third thing, unambiguously, this is a request not for related living. This is a request for duplex, period. So when we look at the options that Chris is talking about, that's the options we've got to approve or disapprove it as related living. So you see how the three questions are related. So I guess I'm looking for clarification on or affirmation of those.
Well, I mean, in terms of limitations, it's obviously more limited if it's a family member that's living in a separate unit within a structure. The only difficulty in that regard is how do you verify, and how do you continually check to see if it's still a family member living there, or now is it someone that's not a family member that's been represented that it's a duplex and they can rent the property. It's going to be extremely difficult to verify and to keep records on who is actually living in the auxiliary unit. So, I mean, it's difficult in most cases to keep track of what's going on properties, but this would be very difficult because there's no structural changes made at that time that would require a permit. Just a simple change in the occupancy.
Wouldn't that be all the more reason to approve for use variance? Because I could be somebody who's trying to set a precedent of, oh, I can get away with this or that, but here I am trying to be upfront and, do things the right way. I just, it's hard for me to see how, whether it's related living or as a duplex, see those be vastly different. I mean, you'd have two separate entities at the home and people come and go as they please, their own space, their own everything. It's used as a duplex, just under the one family being there versus two families.
Did anybody happen to drive by it and look at it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, not being able to see the inside of the house, it's literally not a house split in half. It's two separate houses that are attached. It's not like somebody cut it in half and split it off. It's fully separate, two houses that connect together. And that's the oddity of the property when he bought it. It's not like somebody cut their house in half and made a duplex. It's specifically built as two separate units, and it's probably been that way for a long time. So it's just odd. That's something I've not ever seen here. It's a very unique house.
I would also point out as you consider, and again, not advocating a position, that if you were inclined to grant it, you always can put conditions
Right.
as well to impose, which you may be prepared for this evening, you may need to deliberate on. But because of the uniqueness, I want to make sure that you understand all of your options.
Sure, thank you.
I understand someone being hesitant to have this approved because it may, the idea of it setting a precedent, but it really is just an extremely odd situation of this specific home. And that's why I believed for this to be a good purchase for me and for me to move forward and try to do this.
You have any more questions from the board?
Did we close the public hearing?
We did.
We did? Okay. Missed that.
Well.
I just wanted to make sure.
Mrs. Gemma keeps wanting to ask, I will allow a question.
And I think you should take them, maybe
Yeah.
reopen it.
We can
and
do that?
Yeah, you can, absolutely.
All right, yeah, I can reopen, but I will have order. We're not gonna have a free-for-all, okay? Okay.
The only suggestion,
Yeah.
which is usual procedure
Yeah.
before we go forward, is
No, I guess what I don't want when we reopen the public hearing is for people to repeat what they've already said. Okay?
and I caution before you go is that usual procedure is to allow the petitioner to be able to rebut any of these points made, and to maybe not close after this reopening of it unless you're sure that you're ready to make a decision this evening, so that you could continue the public hearing if you needed to, and welcome some additional evidence or presentation.
Okay. Okay, then we will reopen the public hearing.
Daddy, repeat my name?
I got you.
We know who you are, okay?
I just wanted to make sure that people understand too, that the residents in that area, we've been there some 40-some years, we have an interest too in maintaining what we have. We also have a lot of vacant land that people have purchased okay, to make sure that it was a residential one. So we also are taking a situation here too. So that's all I wanted to kind of say, you know, because that is a factor when you start doing this, and I call it spot zoning, even though Mike's told me we don't spot zone. It's really spot zoning.
Are there, just one second, are there any other additional comments? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Laura Madigan. I live over on 521 North First Street. I almost forgot my address. I'm really sorry. I also serve on the town council. I'm not trying to put my thumb on the scale for anyone. I have talked to some of our neighbors about this, and they've addressed it with me. And I would just like to articulate to you all what I think they're forgetting to mention, which is that I hear the petitioners saying, like, what's the difference if it's related living or not? It's still two separate homes. And the difference is that if it's zoned for single-family residential use, then the renters there are all for one family. And if it's separated to two separate families or multiple family use, as it would be for an R3, or essentially what this variance would allow for, that opens the door for two separate individual short-term rentals in town. And I think that the idea of having two separate short-term rentals on one parcel in a single-family residentially zoned neighborhood is, I know that nobody mentioned it here, but that's what I've been hearing from residents, and I just want to make sure that that was noted. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just really feel like, I mean, I know that it's understood that what I'm talking about is this specific parcel. The idea that people own lots and would be able to come in and build a duplex in, you know, a single-family use, I don't feel that what I'm doing here would affect future building plans whatsoever. I mean, that would be a discussion of rezoning the entire area. What I'm talking about is being able to lawfully use an existing structure. I felt that was a comment I'd like to make based on the other comment.
Okay, thank you. I guess the question is, what's the board's pleasure?
So let's say we approve it, you said we could add things to it. I know in some cases, if, we could say like, hey, you know, you're only allowed, you know, for like apartments or duplexes, you can only have 2 cars per unit or something like that. Is that something we could do for this, or is that only during the planning phase of?
I think that this use, he would be able to comply with what is allowed under your zoning code. So limiting who could live there, or the manner in which, if they're in compliance, that generally you're not gonna be able to make that more restrictive than what would be allowed in the code.
Okay. And then a second one is, we heard short-term rental. Was that, like, we're talking Airbnb, or you guys, your long-term rent? I just wanted to make sure. Are we allowed to put any restrictions on it? To say like, hey, it's a duplex. Indiana, they got rid of, you're not allowed to, right?
Well, there's, if you weren't grandfathered in, which that'll be the next meeting of just some discussions, right? You're on a slippery slope there to try to dictate the term, yes, on, you know, for instance, you gotta have at least 30 days, or it has to be longer term.
Just one question, not really related to that, but if so these are right now currently separated units. What's the square footage of each?
Make sure you come to that.
Sorry. I know listed and sold to me in its entirety, it's roughly 1,800 square feet. The rear unit is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and the front unit is 3-bed, 1-bath. I believe, I don't have an exact measurement for you, but I would guess the rear it's not like something that's kind of like hodgepodge thrown together.
So there's no size issues with,
As far as the size of the spaces, no.
okay.
I mean, if it was under, if it was an R3 code, it meets the code for that, so. It's not what we're doing, but yeah, it meets the size.
I think everybody here would like to help you. We just have to watch, we have to go by the rules. And sometimes they seem unfair. I'm sorry you got in that situation, but we gotta go by what the law says.
I would make a motion to deny the petition.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Go,
Let's close the sorry.
close the
Oh,
public
yeah.
hearing?
We should close the public hearing and then,
Okay,
if we're done.
all right. So since we have a motion on the table, we'll close the public hearing? Okay,
You want me to remotion?
Yeah, let's do that.
okay.
I would make a motion that we deny the requested variance.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Did we have,
So just, because this is always gets confusing, is a yes now,
a yes is to deny,
a yes is to deny,
yes.
and then a no is to approve.
Well, a no is just to, yeah,
To,
right. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to deny the petition. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Erickson,
Yes?
Mr. Wagner,
No.
Mr. Hauser,
yes.
Mr. Malinger,
Yes.
Mr. Krimke,
Yes. Okay, yeah, the petition's been denied. Okay, we do need to review the findings, everyone. And again, these findings were written as if the petition would be passed, which it hasn't. So we take some recommendations, Mr. Willoughby.
My recommendation is that you make findings that are centered on whether he established the criteria. And I'd like to remind you that he only needs to have failed on proving one of those, needs to prove all of them, right? So if he failed to approve any of them to your satisfaction or demonstrate and introduce evidence and materials for you to consider, you could find against that.
Okay,
And so my suggestion would be that if you're inclined that it would not constitute a hardship because he bought the property knowingly, that it was not zoned for the use intended, and that it otherwise would substantially interfere with the comprehensive plan, based on the zoning.
okay,
And for those, you don't need to go through the analysis of all of, just needs to have failed on one, and otherwise failed to meet his burden of proving the other requirements.
okay, so we would then approve that, would the motion be then to approve the findings as amended? Would that be, that would be the motion?
Yes, and I can reduce that to writing.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Everybody understand that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I entertain a motion on the findings.
That we approve the findings as amended with the guidance from Willoughby.
Correct.
I'll
Okay.
second.
We have a motion and a second. We have a roll call, please?
Mr. Erickson,
Yes?
Mr. Wagner,
No.
Mr. Hauser,
Yes.
Mr. Malinger,
Yes.
Mr. Krimke.
Yes. Okay. All right, is there any other business from the board or anyone else to bring up? All right, seeing none,
Move adjourn.
okay,